Radio in motion program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, ready? Here we go.
Radio in motion.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. So tonight, you've joined me for Radio Motion's Christmas Rock. I hope you're enjoying that. But right now we're going to have another installment of The Ugly Truth, and I'm going to do a bit of a 2024, the year that was, a bit of a recap in this roller coaster year. And there was just so many events that I think will have ramifications for years, both good and bad. But before we get to that, I did want to talk about something. I roasted a video last week, and I'm going to do another one now. And this one is coming from the worldwide trusted news source of CNN. And like I say, I always leave it to you to decide what you find is fact and what you find is fiction. And this story is really being torn apart by everyone who's watched it as being obviously about the fakest fake video ever faked in the history of fake videos. It's so bad, and it's so sad that it is on something like a trusted news source like CNN. And we're going to watch it. And again, I always say, you check it out yourself, make the decision for yourself. But, when I watched this, I was thinking back to the videos I used to make with my best friend Jason as a kid. And I tell you, we used to work really hard to make videos look real. But if we were making a video that was supposed to be like, a monster chasing someone or found footage or something realistic, at age 14, we were already better at it than this video, looking so, obviously staged. And it's so sad that a news outlet has to be propaganda, for the government to make their case. And the reporter, I tell you, she's not going to win a Pulitzer, but Academy Award may be on the horizon. And it also takes me back to one of the best movies ever in the 80s, I think 85, 86. It's called Broadcast News. William Hurt, Albert Brooks, fantastic. And even they knew back then, they saw the writing on the wall. Essentially, it was a newscaster who came in, and it was sort of the ending of the Walter Cronkite days where it was legitimate news reporter. I'm reporting the news, and this is factual, to, and I'm not having to go at Tom Brokaw. I grew up with Tom Brokaw and that sort of anchor who, frankly, he had that look, and you trusted him because he had that look of believability, and he had the face. So yeah, they're sort of taking the piss, sort of Tom Brokaw. But one of the most pivotal scenes from that movie, they go through the whole movie where he the anchor gets raked across the coals as sort of being fake, not a real news reporter, just an anchor. And there is a difference. That means someone who just reads the teleprompter, whatever's put out there, not someone who actually goes out there and tries to report facts. And Albert Brooks played a reporter that was more of the old school, hard-nosed, actual, factual journalist seeking the truth, which is a rare thing these days. Anyway, spoiler, look, the movie's old, get over it, but watch it yourself. At the end, I think it was Holly Hunter in the movie, she finds a videotape of the anchor, William Hurt. She finds some raw footage where it was an interview between him and another woman who had gone through something tragic. And during the report, it cuts to him tearing up. Now, again, you think that's pretty standard these days to have a news report where there's emotion added. We've just gotten used to it. We've gotten used to the news being more like little mini movies. But this was, them showing you back then that the news was changing. And she found raw footage where, in fact, it wasn't live. It was actually a second camera that they cut away to him after the interview. The point being, they heard the producer in the background going, we only had the camera on the interviewee, "It's too bad that we missed you tearing up because that was emotional." Now, the fact is the reporter actually did tear up, but the fact that they recorded it later and the news reporter found a way to act and tear up again, and they recorded it and cut it in, well, you can see where I'm going with this. Although he legitimately really did cry, the fact that he recorded it later, with fake tears. So anyway, that was the real clincher at the end of that movie that you're like, oh, okay, it's all changed. So anyway, I'll play you the clip, and for those listening, I'll try to describe it. And again, this is from CNN, and this is a respectable 20 years she's been doing this. It's Clarissa Ward, and again, I'm sorry that I'm having a go at someone, but this isn't just me finding this. This is the whole world roasting someone who claims to be an actual news a journalist who's supposed to be reporting on the facts wherever they may lead, not a propaganda machine. So, and the setup for this, and again, this is from CNN. It says, while searching a secretive prison in the belly of the Assad, by the way, sorry, this is in Syria, obviously the current coup in Syria and overthrow of the current regime. They're searching through the belly of the Assad's regime's legacy of torture. CNN's Clarissa Ward made a startling discovery when a rebel fighter was uncovered, a hidden prisoner, still unaware of the coup. So again, I'll play this, and you tell me how dodgy it seems.
Force Intelligence Headquarters.
These are English letters.
We are hoping to find traces of Austin Tice, an American journalist held captive in Syria since 2012.
Supposedly they're looking for this journalist, but they
It's
find
one of many secret prisons
a
across
so-called
the city.
prisoner.
This specific branch was tasked with surveillance, arrest, and killing of all regime critics.
These are all cleaned out.
We don't find any hints of Tice, but come across something extraordinary.
Now,
I can't tell though, it might just be a blanket.
listen to this
But
part.
it's the only cell that's locked. Is he gonna shoot it?
The guard makes us turn the camera off while he shoots the lock off the cell door.
Now I'm going to pause it there. So I'm going to tell you right now, that is sus number one. Totally suspect. The guard makes us turn the camera off while he shoots the lock. You know what we call that in the business? That's the money shot. That's the shot that gets everyone going, oh my God, this is legit. This is happening. Why would you turn the camera away for the money shot? Because ain't no one shooting off no lock, ain't no lock. Okay, they didn't have a budget for a lock. They didn't have a budget for anything. The point is that right there already makes me think this is bullshit. This is fake news. The guard makes us turn away. So we'll continue. Shoots the lock off, supposedly.
We go in to get a closer look. It's still not clear if there is something under the blanket.
That is a blanket with a lump in it for those listening.
Is someone there?
By the way, that's number 2. So this reporter, she actually speaks Arabic. She likes to boast about that. She speaks Arabic on camera and translates. But in this situation, and again, this is all about the look. This is about to dumb it down for the general movie-going audience because this is a production. Is anyone there? Is anyone there? Who could be here? She's speaking in English, okay? Why would she do that? She's been a reporter for 20 years, and, why don't you at least try a dialect that you think would provoke a response in that region rather than you're not in Fresno, California. Is anyone there? That's another, it's just ridiculous. Again, for all of you, by all means, go on YouTube and watch this yourself, and you'll see the fakery.
Or is it just a blanket? I don't know.
I think it's someone. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, it's just
Mind you, they shot the lock off, and that was loud, and this person's still under the blanket. So he emerges from the blanket.
I'm a civilian, he says. I'm a civilian.
Now, for those who are playing the video, I'm going to pause it. Now, this is the hilarious part. This dude, who was supposed to be in here for months, no food, no water, terrible conditions, a prisoner of war, and known to have terrible conditions in this prison. This guy, and again, you watch the video, he looks well-fed, good color in his face. He's not emaciated in any way. He just comes out looking like, he just woke up from a nap, okay? He doesn't look like he has been in a prison of torture. And I'm being serious. Again, everyone has this thing inside them that they can call bullshit. We all have a bullshit detector. It's inside of us. And this one, everyone, your BS detector would be screaming. This guy's beard and hair, I'm going to tell you what, again, when you see photos, even movies fake it better than this. Higher production value movies would have a scraggly beard or something. This dude looked like he just came out of the barber and got the A number one $85 special. He is groomed to the T, okay? And this is the most hilarious part of all. And I'm serious. If you're going to do it right. If you're going to fake it right. This dude's coat is immaculate. Okay? It is nicer coat than I have. This is like Brooks Brothers Burberry kind of coat. I'm not even joking. You watch the video, you'll laugh. This is a nice wool coat with a nice sheen on it, as if the cartel just gave it to him. A couple of wise guys just said, "Hey, we got a nice coat. Take this coat." Okay, the guy looks fine.
He tells the fighter he's from the city of Humps and has been in the cell for 3 months.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
He clutches my arm tightly with both hands.
He clutches her arm.
Does anyone have any water?
Yeah, have any water? The dude is hydrated as hell. Again, you watch the video.
It's water.
This is acting, folks. This is propaganda.
Okay.
This guy's fingernails. Again, you think I'm being too harsh. You know when something's BS. This guy's fingernails are manicured. His hands are soft and supple, as if they've been soaking at a manicure.
Thank God you are safe. Don't be afraid, the fighter says. You are free. This is the third prison they brought me to, he says. The third prison.
Yeah, they brought him with his fancy Brooks Brothers coat.
In his cell, he can finally see the sky.
And this is hilarious. So he looks up to the sky. Again, he's supposed to have been in there for months. You know what happens when you fall asleep for one night and you wake up and you see bright light, and the light is bright? You actually squint your eyes, so much so that you want to close your eyes. This guy looked up as if he's been outside all the time, and it gives that, again, like a movie fake look. Okay, it's too much. Someone in this condition is usually startled and doesn't even want to see people, and is probably mostly more combative and doesn't. By the way, they're pulling it. They're both grabbed onto him and they're just yanking him along, and he's fine with it. Again, someone in a triggered traumatic state of post-traumatic stress doesn't go outside and go, thanks to the Lord. This is a play. This is bullshit.
My God, the light, he says. Oh God, there is light.
His eyes are wide open.
There is light.
He's one guy in this whole prison. He must have slept through the entire war. He has slept through the entire coup.
Stay with me, stay with me, he repeats again and again. For 3 months, I didn't know anything about my family.
Now, again, so the close-ups of him, he looks like he just came off the sound stage. His hands and his fingers are all well manicured, and then so they're showing him now pretending to eat for the first time, and again, it's overacting. Handshaking. So yeah, look, that's enough of that. The point is by all means, check it out for yourself, and you can see that this is just clearly staged. And again, this is the same reporter, Clarissa Ward, who reported a couple of reports that also looked very sus and very dodgy. There was one time. It was supposedly a confirmed chemical attack in Syria, and then she confirmed this. This was some sort of chemical warfare. horrible chemicals that can kill you. And she figured this out by sniffing a backpack. Look up that video. It's hilarious. Again, she's a reporter. She's not some sort of military or chemical expert. She goes, yeah, that smells like something. They actually aired this. That smells like something. Yeah, that's bad. That's some bad sock. That's some bad sock chemical warfare, let me tell you. Again, I think she's the queen of being in the right place at the right time. There was another video where they cut to her. Well, they didn't cut to her like it was live. It was all pre-made. She's on the ground, and the camera's just showing her, nothing around, no noise, and she's going, oh, we've just been under fire. We've just been under heavy fire. She's dressed in like a power suit, no helmet, no gear, nothing. We've just been under fire. Hold on, I'm not sure. Let's get up. Slowly gets up. There's nothing around. There's no smoke. There's nothing in the background. No fire. There's a couple of dudes down the street in shorts, just walking casually. What's at the camera? I don't know. CNN reporter. But apparently they were just in a severe fire, an array of bullets. It's just crap. So again, I think this is hilarious when you can't just go find real news. You have to make it up. And it's sad. And this is still on YouTube on CNN right now as something that's legit. Again, the dude's hair was finally freshly cut, and he was manicured and well fed. It was ridiculous. Also, by the way, he mysteriously disappeared. He was whisked away in a van right afterwards, and conveniently, mysteriously, haven't heard from him since. Again, if this was really something that, we found him, this guy would be on the news, be all over the place as the hero of Syria. But now, they mysteriously disappeared. So, again, this is all about, it's terrible to say, but it's true. Pretty much after World War II, the U.S. military-industrial complex and the war machine, it's big money. And, the USA is good at it. They're good at proxy wars and taking someone down and putting in someone that they think is better, even if that person's terrible. By the way, the dude they put in charge now of Syria has a $10 million bounty on his head as a terrorist. But that's okay, because the USA says, nah, you're our pick. You're our terrorist, so you're in, the other dude's out. You know what I mean? Look, and again, you look at this stuff up for yourself. Make your own decision. But ISIS, Al-Qaeda, all of those terrorist groups, they are of things set in motion that the U.S., whether they created them literally, specifically out of thin air, or they were the ones that fanned the flames and made it worse. And isn't it interesting that ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they never attack Israel? They're sworn enemies. You never hear about them attacking Israel. That's because the U.S. is controlling what they do. Like I say, Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine, it's all big business. The people there don't really want to be in war. America wants to be in war because it's big business for all the money that's behind it. Again, look this up yourself. Remember Saddam Hussein? No one would know this. No one remembers this, but it's a fact. Saddam Hussein, used to be the USA's golden boy. George W. Bush specifically said, he's a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. That means essentially, we know how bad he is, but we can control him. Then, of course, one day, Saddam Hussein didn't toe the line, and then he became, target number one, didn't he? And again, that was an excuse because they had to get into Iraq. Like I say, when people now, I think only now starting to wake up, and I think 2025 is going to be a whole different sort of year. And now, like I say, I'm going to do a bit of a year in review of 2024. I think looking ahead, things are going to be different. Not easy, but different. I think people are waking up, and they know that CNN and Fox, it's not about left or right. That's the problem. They want to make it that there's a divisiveness amongst everyone and a panic in the streets because, well, news sells. Like I said, that movie, Broadcast News, they touched on it back then. Walter Cronkite is no more. There is no reporting the news. There's only selling the news. And again, like I always say, remember, broadcast news, free-to-air news isn't free. It's being paid for. How do they get all that money to stay on the air? Because it's just news. News doesn't pay. Hello, sponsorship, commercials. You know, it's hard to bag Big Pharma and Pfizer when the next ad coming up is for Pfizer. You know, this just found, mRNA vaccines might have, myocardia, side effects and causing issues. Next up, an ad for Pfizer. Pfizer, the only way to go. You can't do that. The two don't mix. So, like I say, mainstream media, I think people are cottoning on to the fact that there's more sources to get your news. Podcast X, whatever. Why don't you just read a book? Why don't you read a newspaper? Several newspapers. You need to really culminate a lot of your facts and not just trust the face on the TV. So, talk about 2024. Let's turn the Wayback Machine to January 3rd, 2024. Jeffrey Epstein files. Well, it seems like they were going to get released, but now they're just hanging out there. I think they're hanging out there because a lot of names are on that list, and anyone doesn't know by now, Jeffrey Epstein and his island of debauchery. He wined and dined everyone, and I don't just mean like Hollywood. I mean everyone. We're talking, senators and government officials and just powerful people. And that list, I don't know. When it comes out, it may never come out because I think you'd be terrified of who's on that list. And again, this is all about, the things that happen behind closed doors, but when someone, puts a hidden video camera on it. That's kind of where P. Diddy's at too. I'm sure you know about all the Diddy parties. That's another thing that's going to come out, and it will. So many people, I'm sure, are on the list of the P. Diddy party, and whatever happened behind closed doors, they're going to get found out. January 18th, NASA's the Ingenuity drone on Mars. Now, the drone landed in 2021, but on January 18th, it had completed its 72nd flight. The reason that's awesome is because it was only expected to do 5. I mean, that's pretty cool. So whoever designed that drone should be pretty happy that it was able to do 72 flights. And although it's not flying, it's still able to record data, and apparently it can record data for like eons. So that's pretty cool. I love to hear stuff like that. March 10th, Chris Nolan won for Best Director for Oppenheimer. Of course, Oppenheimer was the year before the summer of Barbenheimer. Who would have thought that Oppenheimer and Barbie movie were going to be globbed together as one and become the sort of all-in-one blockbuster, one about the father of the atomic age and the other one, the mother of, I suppose the atomic blonde. I think that was an interesting mix. April 2nd, 2024, apparently Taylor Swift became the world's first musician to become a billionaire solely from her songs and concerts. Look, I always have a go at modern music, including hers being sort of generic pop and plastic, but you got to give it to her. She is working hard and she puts on a hell of a show, so I know she's definitely earned that. April 13th, Iran launched a drone and missile attack on Israel following the Israeli attack on Damascus embassy. Again, that's another horrible conflict, and like I say, I go on about the military-industrial complex. Their aim is to keep war going because it's a perpetual money-making machine. The sad part is it's always the children and the innocent that get caught up in this, and that's what's sad. June 24th, Julian Assange walked free. That one really surprised me after a 14-year battle with the U.S. government. In the last 5 years, obviously spent in that horrible prison. I had just recently, before that, interviewed director Kim Staten on his documentary, The Trust Fall. That was a fantastic documentary. I certainly encourage you to look that up. It's still a fantastic history and documentary about Julian Assange and sort of how he ended up there. Again, just by what I believe, and I said this back then as well, by doing actual journalism. Unfortunately, wherever it may lead, wherever it leads. And I know for some they say, well, that's treason if it's something against your country. If your country, and this is the USA, if they are perpetuating war crimes or say they're spying on their own people, I think this is something that is exactly what a true journalist is for. and to report the truth and hold them accountable for it. But yeah, he got in it deep for that, for being a true journalist. I think he should definitely win an award. But I am glad he's out. I didn't think that would happen. July 13th, President Trump survived the assassination attempt in the rally in Pennsylvania. Again, I'll talk about that in a minute. He has certainly come full circle in a year, an amazing year for President Donald Trump. July 21st, President Joe Biden withdrew, obviously endorsing Kamala Harris, and we all know how that turned out. It did not turn out well. And again, they say in the statistics, he withdrew. Yeah, I think it was more they saw that debate, and they saw that he was obviously in cognitive decline, and dementia was creeping in. By the way, it had already creeped in 4 years earlier. But anyway, the whole world saw it, and they couldn't deny it. And I think they said, brother, you ain't going to make it. You're done. And then they put her in. And again, I've done podcasts on this before. That in itself is already a problem, and goes against the entire point of a free election. You can't just take out a candidate and slip someone in. The next candidate also has to be, have a primary and be elected. But anyway, that's ancient history, folks, because she gone. September 18th, this one was interesting. After nearly 80 years, Tupperware filed for bankruptcy. Kids probably wouldn't even know what Tupperware is. Well, every little vacuum seal plastic container you put your food in, for obviously 80 years, there was only one name in that. And that's Tupperware. Even if it wasn't Tupperware, people called it Tupperware. Anything that was a plastic container that had a lid that went shg, people just called it Tupperware. But sadly, the pioneers of that business, and again, I think they were certainly very innovative. Obviously, they've been taken over by, everything, like a lot of businesses online and Amazon. Everything just gets ordered from overseas. It was unique in that it was like Avon. I don't even know if that still exists, by the way. Women's makeup and products for Avon, going door to door, going to the house, selling it to the house. And for Tupperware, the biggest thing, again, young kids probably wouldn't remember this, they were Tupperware parties. No, it wasn't like dodgy orgy. I don't know. Some of them might have been. I don't know. I didn't go to any of them. But it was essentially, mostly it was primarily housewives. I'm sorry. That's just the way it was. Moms and stuff. God knows today that would be politically incorrect. What about house dads? Okay, house dads too. But they would get together and have a Tupperware party. So essentially the person throwing it, they would, get a percentage and a kickback if they sold a certain amount. And so they held a Tupperware party, invited the whole neighborhood over, 20 of the housewives all gathered around having a charcuterie plate and nibblies, and then the person throwing it go, and now Tupperware's latest super vacuum seal. Look at this one, 2 lids in one, and this one's expandable. And of course, everyone go ooh, and then they would buy the products. So again, that was pretty cool for its time, but obviously, the modern world has devoured them. So that's a bit sad. And of course, November 5th. The president-elect and soon-to-be president after January, Donald Trump was elected as president by a huge majority, no matter what anyone says. This one was ridiculous. November 21st. Look up the picture to this one. It's ridiculous. A literal banana duct taped to the wall, sold for $16.2 million in New York. So, my folks, that is the downfall of the Western civilization. From the Sistine Chapel to banana stuck on wall. This is art. This is where we are, folks. Again, I get it. Art is it's all about, how it's perceived and the perception of art, and it's subjective and no, that's just lazy. That is not art. That is some artist who is racking his brain going, I can't do the watercolors anymore. I can't do it. And I'm terrible with oil-based paints. I can't sculpture. I suck. Wait a minute. I have an epiphany. Oh my God. And he saw the banana. Wait. Stuck it to the wall. And there it is. And in the background, a choir of angels. Oh, and there it was. But look, I'm the real chump because I didn't do it and I didn't make $6.2 million. I don't know what to say. Look, I'm gonna start creating my own art. I think I can do it. Yep. Banana stuck to wall. I'm on it. And December 1st, President Biden pardoned his son, Hunter, for any crime he's committed over the previous 10 years. And again, most people are like, well, that's what a dad would do. Anyone would do that. I think it's mostly about, for years, he said adamantly he would not pardon his son. That what would that look like? That, you know, he got himself into these things. And of course, again, if you don't know this, you know, a lot of it was implicating, you know, Joe Biden in these conversations. Essentially, you know, this is the Hunter Biden laptop and stuff. Essentially selling, you know, Dad, the big guy, as he would say in these text conversations or messages that they found. You know, if you don't send us the money, I don't think I'll be able to give you access to the big guy. Again, that's clearly selling, you know, political influence for money, which again, if that's not, you know, total corruption, nothing is. Not to say all of the other crimes he had, tax evasion and gun crimes, but here's the kicker. It's okay because he was on drugs. So that's the other thing. I think, he's on crack, and the crack consumes you. I'm not going to say that someone on drugs doesn't have a problem and doesn't get consumed with that and makes bad decisions. But I think the fact that, you know, the president pardoned him, and that was one of the excuses, that now leads anybody to use drugs as the excuse. I wasn't myself. I didn't know where I was. I had no control. I had zero control. I've murdered someone. It's the drugs. It's the drugs. Hey, judge, it's the drugs. I did drugs. It's okay. I'm sorry. I think that's a crock. I think even while you're on drugs, at some point, you are still in there, and if you commit crimes, you did it. The drugs may have pushed you over the line, but you did it. And of course, at the end, I think the biggest comeback story of the year is certainly Donald Trump. In the media, how can you go from being literally called Hitler on every single show, from CNN to The View, and then to become Time Magazine's Person of the Year? I'm just saying, if that's not a comeback story going full circle, nothing is. Like I say, the next 4 years are certainly going to be interesting. And for anyone who is vehemently just against him as a person, like I say, think of it like this. It's not so much him, it's what he stands for as not being a politician. He is not part of the swampy political forever government. You know, there are senators there are people who have been, in Washington for like 50 years. You know, they are old and they will never change their ways. And I think that's horrible. You need some fresh blood and fresh ideas. So another old politician wouldn't have helped us, folks. And someone like this who brings people with him, like, you know, Elon Musk and RFK Jr., it's who he brings with him. Tulsi Gabbard, he surrounds himself with, I think, good people who want to make a change for the good. So, like I say, a hell of a year for Person of the Year from starting off as Hitler. Anyway, it's been an amazing year, and I thank you for joining me this year, and I thank you for joining me tonight. We've got some more great Christmas rock coming up on Radio Motion after a word from our awesome sponsors.